How much do you really care about the things you claim to care about? This is the kind of thing that I wish I could ask myself when I was younger, because only recently have I really gained some perspective about what I care about versus what I'm merely interested in. Because there's a full gamut of different issues out there that everybody could care about, yet you can't care about every last thing, because if you did, you'd be pulling your own mind apart in a million different directions. We as humans simply don't have that capacity. So 1, be sure to not hold yourself to that ridiculous standard, but at the same time, don't pretend that you can. I think there's a qualitative difference between really caring about something and merely having a passing interest in it. It may be a bit of a semantical point from my own perspective, but whatever, we're gonna run with it. It's like, how much do you really care about that petition that you signed some years ago and don't even remember? Well, you cared enough to sign the petition, so obviously you care, right? I don't think so. I personally think that you were merely interested in it enough that you would sign your name to it and try and effect change in that way, but you don't really care. I mean, if you really cared about something, then wouldn't you have gone out of your way to have found out about it on your own? Though, I guess that's a bit arbitrary about the means by which you happen to have discovered something, but regardless, just another nail in the coffin of this, so to speak. Like, am I really doing anything when I talk about things on my own channel? Because talk by itself is cheap, and actions speak louder than words. Yet in this specific context, talking could be considered to be its own action. Affecting change by speaking is fine, but in many contexts, talking and being unwilling to actually do anything is indicative of not really caring about the topic. So the question becomes, what actions do reasonably constitute actually doing something? Basically, I wish I could tell my younger self to just not pretend to care about things when you aren't actually willing to do anything about them. Well, but I cried over the Coyote 2012 video, and how many fucks were given by the people whose lives were ruined? Generally, when you sit there and say, I care, but don't actually do anything to affect change, what you're effectively saying is you don't care. But sure, maybe you just don't know how it is that you can affect change. But most often when I hear people say that, what they actually mean is they don't know what can act as a magic bullet so that they can have some easy, cheap, hassle-free, tax-deductible way to solve the issue. Actions speak louder than words, and so if you're willing to spread awareness about a topic, I dare say you should be willing to endure some hardship and sacrifice in order to ameliorate the problem in the first place. Otherwise, you may have interest in the topic, but you don't really give a shit. Which is fine. Not everyone can care about every little thing. Like I said before, if you did, you'd be pulled apart in a million different directions. But don't pretend to care about every little thing when you don't, and probably can't. If you actually think about something very regularly or are concerned enough about it to lose sleep, then yes, you definitely care about it. If not, at least have the perspective and the courage to admit that you don't really care about things that don't immediately impact your particular worldview, and we'll leave it at that. Again, if only I could have told this to myself 10 years ago. Long days and pleasant nights.